Happy holidays and welcome to this edition of ACAP Today for the week of December 21, 2020. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. We're pleased that you could join us for this week's webisode as we continue our Maine Leaders Conversation series. In just a little bit, we are going to speak with US Senator Angus King on this historic day. Today, Monday, the 21st of December, is the day that the package is being passed, the second relief package is being passed, which both Senator King and Senator Collins have worked very hard on. So we're going to hear from Senator King. We recorded the interview prior to today, so you're going to hear about his work working toward that bill. We'll look forward to that conversation with Senator King in just a little bit. But before we get to that interview and the feature interview this week on the Maine Leaders Conversation series, we are going to first begin with our news and information that you can use, again, for this week, the 21st of December, 2020. We begin by sharing with you, as we do each week, the status of our office closures. Our offices are all closed to the public again because of the surge in COVID cases. That noted, we are serving members of the public through our Presque Isle, Houlton, and Fort Kent offices. If you have paperwork or other stuff that you need to drop off to us, both the Houlton and the Presque Isle offices have banners, as is seen here in this picture. So if you have a need for contacting somebody in the building and you are at one of our building locations, please call the number on the banner and we will make access with you. We have window and curbside service available and we would be happy to connect with you. Most of our services, or all of our services otherwise, are being offered remotely. And I also will note that we have rapidly changing situations in our early care and education centers, and we are reaching out directly to parents if there's a change in status in their child's classroom. That noted, all of our early care and education programs across Aroostook County have gone remote for the remainder of 2020. So we will see students in early Head Start hopefully again in 2021. We also, as I noted at the very top of the broadcast, want to wish you a happy holiday season. Our offices will be closing at noon this Thursday, the 24th of December, across Aroostook County, and we will be closed obviously on Christmas Day on the 25th. We will be back in business on Monday, the 28th, and we'll be operating Monday through Thursday next week, with the exception of Friday, which is New Year's Day. So we will see you on the days, and we will be able to be reached by phone up until noon on December 24th. We also wanted to say a special thank you in this season of giving to our local grocers and others who have donated to our Cereal Giving Tree Reimagined. As you know, we usually participate in the St. Apollonia Festival of Trees, the St. Apollonia Dental Clinic Festival of Trees, and we were unable to do that because the event wasn't happening because of COVID in 2020. But we reached out to a number of our partners who had donated cereal in the past to help us with that event. And here you see Graves Shop and Save and Parody Shop and Save making their donations. We also received generous gifts from Caribou Hannaford, from Aroostook Foods, and from the Ashland Food Mart. And we thank all of you for your gracious generosity in this holiday season. We have a new community cupboard in Aroostook County that we're very pleased to announce. It is located at the Caribou Bread of Life Kitchen on Collins Street in Caribou. This is a partnership between the Bread of Life Soup Kitchen, the Aroostook County Action Program, and the United Way of Aroostook. It is located outside of the Bread of Life Kitchen, as I said, on Collins Street in Caribou. It also has in it Aroostook County food resource guides, where there are different availabilities for food items to help individuals in need. That can be found inside this cupboard or inside our cupboard here at the ACAP main office in Presque Isle. We thank the Bread of Life Soup Kitchen and the United Way of Aroostook for being our partners on this initiative. Many of the volunteers at the Bread of Life Soup Kitchen were concerned about providing regular meals, and that the people who were participating and using their soup kitchen were concerned about their food security. So this is another way that they are able to support the community at a time of need. So if you are in need, please visit the Caribou Bread of Life Kitchen for the 24-hour, 7-day-a-week pantry. Also, if you have donations that you would like to make of non-perishable food items, you can bring them right to the cupboard and place them in there yourself at any time. Speaking of resources that the community can use, our community closet here at 771 Main Street is available 24/7. It is right in front of the building at 771 Main Street near Walmart. There's been a little area, an enclosed area that's still open air to the public, open air to the environment on the upper end of it that has clothing that's been donated, as well as some coats on a rack outside of the closet. please do take what you need and leave what you can as this community closet functions. And we welcome all folks to make donations and to take clothing as needed from the community closet. We are also offering free masks, free cloth masks, such as the one that you're seeing Gloria Duncan, ACAP's executive assistant, wearing in this picture, in regards to the governor's new executive order strengthening the enforcement of face covering requirements that she issued earlier this month on December 11th. You can pick up free cloth face masks at our Presque Isle facility near Walmart, at our Holton facility on Military Street, and at our Fort Kent facility in the Industrial Park. Again, there's curbside service there available for you, and we can get those through you through a window as well. We don't want anybody to go without face masks. So if you are in need, please do reach out to us and we will make arrangements to get some to you. If you want to mail to you, we can do that as well. If you are in need of any assistance at this time, we remind you that we do have navigators that are standing by on site here at ACAP that can help you if you're facing a new unemployment, or you've been impacted in any way by the pandemic and don't know where to turn. Our navigators here at ACAP that are funded through the CARES Act are available to help meet your needs. Please give us a call at 764-3721, or otherwise reach out to us. You can send us an email or connect through us on our website, and we will be glad to get back in touch with you through this resource. We've also announced that our 2020 home buyer education class schedule is set for 2021. We will have our first home buyer education class of the new year on January 30th. These are 8-hour home buyer education classes taught by industry professionals, and they are offered completely online, and they are offered using Zoom and are held on Saturdays. So the first one will be on the 30th, Saturday, the 30th of January. And then you see there March 6th, April 3rd, and so on in the course of the year. A total of 7 courses will be offered. Greg Doak is our certified homeworks instructor, and he's available if you would like more information on the class or to register. You can call here at our main office at 764-3721 or email Greg directly at gdoak@acap-me.org. The Aroostook County Action Program is also celebrating in partnership with Drug Free Aroostook, which is a program of ACAP. The announcement by US Senator Susan Collins and Angus King, our guest in just a bit, about our Drug Free Communities grant that we have been awarded to continue the work of the Drug Free Aroostook program for the next 5 years. This funding was awarded through the Office of National Drug Control Policies, a Drug Free Communities program, and it's a continuation grant. We've had it for 5 years now, and this will allow us to continue the work of educating the public about the hazards and the harms of drugs in an effort to prevent usage of drugs here in Aroostook County. We also want to remind folks of our COVID-19 rental relief program. We are uncertain exactly what the implications of the stimulus package that is being passed in Washington, D.C. today will have on our COVID-19 rental relief program. We can only imagine that it will help extend it. As we understand, the moratorium on evictions has been continued through the end of January. Currently, the rental relief program that we are issuing is available through the months of December rent, but we are hopeful that with the announcement of the second stimulus package today that we will see some continuation of the COVID-19 rental relief program into the new year. As soon as we have more information on that, we will bring it to you in a future edition of ACAP Today and in our weekly briefing as well. The Home Energy Assistance Program is also available for folks. We are currently serving our existing customers, and we will have more information on in the coming months how, if you have not registered or applied for the Home Energy Assistance Program, how you might be able to do so. We'll have available appointments coming up in the early winter months after the new year, and we look forward to connecting with more folks. We believe that about 3,000 or so Aroostook County households may be eligible for HEAP who have not applied or have not qualified in recent years, but in the past 2 years with the extension of the income guidelines, we believe that there are more households that apply. So more on a drive to get individuals to apply for HEAP will be coming in the early winter months in the new year. We also offer here at ACAP a tobacco workplace policy assistance program where we help with environments across Aroostook County that want to work on being tobacco free. We encourage you to contact Chastity Holland at cholland@acap-me.org. If you have a need to update your tobacco policy, or if you would like to have a tobacco policy, in addition to her work, which is of no charge to you, working with your team at your place of employment, you also are eligible to receive free signage, such as what you see here on the screen, by completing and participating in that program. So we do encourage you to contact us if you are in need of assistance with that. We also are offering a smoking cessation program. This is a great time of year to consider quitting smoking. Make it your New Year's resolution for 2021. Elaine Sipe here at ACAP is fantastic with this program. She has available things such as quit kits, virtual meetings that she can help connect one-on-one or in group settings. She'll help you make a quit date plan. So contact her today if you'd like to do that for early in the new year. And she'll also connect you with free nicotine replacement therapies. Again, Elaine Sipe is the contact person, 227-2348, or esipe@acap-me.org. We also are offering, as we've been sharing with you over the weeks, the Maine's Workforce Collaborative, offering virtual employment workshops and informational sessions to help individuals really connect with resource, build job skills, and find and maintain employment. ACAP is participating in this along with Workforce Solutions, operated by Goodwill of Northern New England and Eastern Maine Development Corporation, comprising Maine's collaborative workforce with the 3 workforce opportunity boards. We encourage you to reach out to us if you would like more information or to sign up. You can do so through our website, or you can call us and we will help you get connected with these sessions. And finally, today, in this week's news and information that you can use, we do have some openings for ed techs in our Caribou and Presque Isle centers, and we encourage you, if you enjoy working with children and you would like to consider a career with ACAP, to please look at those openings on our website and reach out to us if we can be of any further assistance. And we hope to get some really good applicants. We have a great team here at ACAP, and we'd love to have you join us. So with that, that's this week's news and information that you can use. And we are so pleased to be joined on this Maine Leaders Conversation series on ACAP Today by US Senator Angus King from his home in Brunswick, I believe. Welcome, Senator.
No, actually, I'm in Washington.
You are? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking, it looks very homey. Your office looks very homey.
Well, it's not my office. It is my home in Washington.
I'm 0 for 2.
You want to start over?
No, I think we're great. That's a great it's always great to be in a conversational style with you, Senator King. So we're talking with Maine leaders across the state and those who represent us in Washington, D.C. And the first thing we're asking is, looking back on 2020, what a crazy year it's been. What are your reflections on this last year, and any lessons that we've learned, and just your takeaways?
Well, I think one of the first things is, in this time last year, around the beginning of the holidays, who would have thought that a year later we'd all be wearing masks, not going to Thanksgiving dinner with our kids? I haven't been to a movie in so long, I can't remember what it looks like. I mean, all of that has changed. And I think we can talk a lot about the pandemic and how terrible it is, but it also is an illustration of how adaptable we are, and that we can make changes in our lifestyle when required by a disaster. But it really has been tragic. And of course, we're having a spike in Maine now, largest number of cases I think we've had since it all began. And this is true across the country. We're in for a very tough 2 or 3 months. Hopefully by early spring to mid-spring, we will be having the vaccine more widely distributed. But until then, we can't take anything for granted. So yeah, it's been a really hard year, I think, for everybody, but particularly for those people who tend to be isolated anyway, people with mental illness issues, with addiction, with substance use disorder issues. This has been a tough time, and I got to tell you, people like ACAP have made such a huge difference in reaching out to people during this period.
Well, thank you, Senator King. And like organizations like ours are having to set priorities every day, because it certainly is very overwhelming for us now. But I can imagine at your level in Washington, D.C., setting priorities on what decisions to make and what to do with available funding is very challenging. How do you set those priorities, and what are you looking at in terms of priorities for 2021 in terms of both the pandemic and moving hopefully beyond this pandemic?
Well, I'm in the midst of a negotiation right now with about 8 or 9 other members of Congress, a couple of members of the House, and a bipartisan group from the Senate, including Senator Collins, trying to find a path to a compromise emergency COVID package to be passed in the next week to provide uh, help and support through the next 2 or 3 months. It's not a comprehensive package, and it's been very difficult to make the kind of choices that you're talking about, but we've tried to focus on where the needs are most acute and where we can actually make a difference in people's lives. So that's going on at this moment. I was on a Zoom call Friday night, another long, I think 2+ hours yesterday. Our staffs are madly working on drafting the documents to put them into legislative language. We're still not there. We've got some tough issues yet to resolve. Moving into 2021, obviously the pandemic is number one. Being sure that that the vaccine is distributed fairly and efficiently and as fast as possible, uh, I think is certainly one of the highest priorities. Again, packages like what we're talking about today and this week to support people on unemployment, people in housing, difficult housing situations, small businesses, states and localities, which are really hurting at the very time that they need to be providing services. So we're going to continue to work on that. One of the issues that I think is most important, and this pandemic has underlined it, is broadband. Uh, it Kids connecting remotely to school, seniors connecting to telehealth, seniors connecting just to one another, and rural broadband is one of the most serious problems facing the country. And as I say, the pandemic really underlined it. So we're going to hopefully include some of a package on that in this emergency package, but that's one of my highest priorities in the new year.
You mentioned unemployment and housing as some of the key issues, and you also mentioned broadband, and you've used broadband to really keep in touch with Mainers across the state and keep your fingers on the pulse of what's happening here in the state as it relates to the pandemic. What are you hearing from your constituents out there in terms of what some of the biggest challenges are right now and how that's helping your work to craft another relief package?
Well, you're right. I don't know if you've had this experience, but in my experience, you're as tired or more tired at the end of a day of Zooms than you are at the end of a day of regular meetings. I looked on my schedule. I don't know how many meetings I have today. This is the second or third, I think, and I've got several others. Yeah, in fact, I had a virtual tour of the Puritan Swab Factory, the new facility down in Pittsfield that are making. They've gone from, I think, something like 30 million swabs a month to 180 million a month, which is just unimaginable, the work that they've done. So anyway, what I'm hearing is concerns about healthcare, concerns about access. Of course, there's a lot of concern about the future of the Affordable Care Act. And I do want to pause. Today is the deadline for Medicare. And next week is the deadline for the ACA, for the Affordable Care Act. And you guys have been doing a fabulous job. I think the Navigator program that you're doing is one of the most important, because this is no matter how much we in government try to simplify things, it's complicated stuff. And people are having to make difficult decisions without full access to information. So the navigators that you provide are critically important. And I think everybody knows today's deadline, and then the 15th is a huge deadline. We've just got to get people signed up. It would be tragic to have someone come in a month from now and say, "Gee, can I get health insurance?" And the door is closed. So the work you're doing to both publicize the deadlines, but also to help people go through the process is just fabulous. So those are some of the things that I'm hearing. I'm hearing from businesses that are worried about the winter, all across the state. The state and localities, I've had Zoom meetings with localities that are worried about their budgets because the revenues are down and, they're having to furlough first responders or not fill vacancies. So it's a broad range. Also, we had a really good delegation meeting with the governor last week talking about what the issues are with the state and so it's you name it. I've talked to a lot of people about healthcare, particularly ACA people who have the ACA and what a difference it's made in their lives.
We talk about the Navigator program and the ACA. I think there are a number of us, especially those of us in social services in rural rim counties of the state, that are a bit fearful of what happens. We've seen in a good infusion of government dollars to help people navigate these early months of the pandemic. And then we also see the future coming of the results of the decennial census from 2020. I think we're a little bit worried about how we're going to be able to serve the needs of people, especially in the rural rim counties of the state. Any thoughts about how that sustaining happens? I mean, you're a former governor of the state of Maine and the like, and we're really in tune with the fact that we not need to be two Maines. How do we move forward with what we know is coming, which are some very difficult decisions?
Well, I can tell you, I mean, one of the interesting things about the US Senate is that it's essentially a rural body. Here's a really interesting number. I did this calculation about a year ago. I haven't checked it this year with the changes, but basically 18 US senators represent a majority of Americans. That means 82 senators represent the other half. And what that tells you is the Senate, it represents rural America because the way it's set up. Maine has 2 senators, so does California. So I can tell you that I've formed relationships with a lot of my colleagues from rural states, John Bozeman in Arkansas, Joe Manchin, Shelley Capito in West Virginia, the representatives, Deb Fisher, Nebraska, Ben Sass, Nebraska, John Tester in Montana. I mean, there's a growing realization that we can't leave rural America out. And that there need to be, for example, in our negotiations on the emergency COVID package, we're pushing to be sure that there are rural set-asides to provide the resources that are necessary. The same with broadband. I mean, broadband in rural areas, that's where the issue is, and broadband is a basic fundamental necessity in this day and age. Particularly for students and seniors. So I think people are well aware of what you're talking about. I know I certainly am, and so we got to keep putting little carve outs and set asides and those kinds of things for rural areas, and just being sure that when we set up these formulas that they work for Aroostook County as well as Cumberland County.
In the list of US senators and representatives that you noted there, you listed a very bipartisan group, and Maine has always sent individuals to Congress who have looked at things from that perspective, including you. But it's become, I think, very frustrating for many folks who look to try to find the middle, to find that middle. What are your thoughts in 2021 about that middle reemerging? Do you see it happening under a new administration, or is the partisanship in Washington permanently a fixture?
Well, that's the $1 million question right now, and a lot of it comes down to what will Mitch McConnell's the Senate, the Republican leader, what will his approach be come January? Many people fear, and I think it's a reasonable one, that he will simply try to unify his caucus against anything that Joe Biden wants to do, and try to block Biden and undermine any success of his administration. That's one view. My view is slightly more optimistic. Of course, control of the Senate will rest upon what happens in those 2 elections in Georgia that occur in early January. But even if the Republicans win both of those seats, Senator McConnell's majority in the Senate will be very narrow. It will be 52 to 48, counting Bernie Sanders and I, who both independents who both caucus with the Democrats. So 52 to 48, and with a Democratic administration where the vice president breaks the tie, which would be Kamala Harris, that means Mitch only has 2 votes to spare. And it means that centrists, more moderate senators on both sides, can have a disproportionate influence. I think it's important, and I don't know if we're going to be successful. Right now, it's a real toss-up. We've got some very tough negotiations, but this group that came together to put together a compromise COVID relief package consisted of, let me see if I can name them off the top of my head. Bill Cassidy, Susan Collins, Joe Manchin, Lisa Murkowski, myself, trying to think of the others, Mark Warner, thoroughly bipartisan group, all people who want to get the work done. Oh, Maggie Hassan and Jean Shaheen. It's interesting, I think, that out of the 9 of us, 4 were from Northern New England. Susan Collins, Angus King, Maggie Hassan, and Jean Shaheen from New Hampshire. So hopefully that sort of New England common sense and pragmatism will carry over into the next session of the legislature. It's got to. I mean, we've just got to find a way beyond this polarization that we're suffering from, and get some serious work done for the country.
What are you hopeful for in 2021? It's very easy, I think, to get overwhelmed by the pandemic and the financial woes and the partisanship. We've talked a lot about the woes. What are you hopeful for in 2021?
Well, I think the first thing we've all got to be hopeful for is the vaccine. Number one, get it approved. I think that's going to be happening in the next week or 2, and then get it out, get it distributed. That's a challenge. This, for example, the Pfizer vaccine must be kept cold to a temperature of something like minus 75 degrees or 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So it needs special cooling. So the logistics of getting it out and storing it and getting into people's arms is a real challenge. The second challenge is people have to take the vaccine. And I mentioned a few minutes ago, we had a delegation meeting with the governor. I suggested that when it's appropriate, we don't want to jump the line, but when it's appropriate, those of us in leadership positions should publicly get vaccinated. So people can say, yeah, I trust this. It's okay for me. It's okay for my kids, because a vaccine doesn't work unless a very large percentage of the people use it. Otherwise, you've still got people running around who are subject to being infected and infecting others. So I think the challenge of the vaccine is, number one, the distribution, the timely distribution in the volume that's necessary. And secondly, that we encourage widespread adoption, because it's just going to make it's the one thing that will really get us out of this. And hopefully by late spring, early summer, we'll be I'll be able to come to the potato festival without a mask on.
Yes, we've missed your visits to Aroostook County. Certainly understandable as to why you haven't been able to come in person, but look forward to those again. One of the last times that you visited with us here at the agency, you sat down with some folks who we're working with in workforce development and heard about stories of individuals who we've been able to help in recovery. What are your thoughts about, you mentioned unemployment earlier, about helping to get people reemployed, and what kind of programs, infrastructure programs or others, are you thinking that the government can support to help people get back to work?
Well, certainly getting back to work is the heart of it. As I mentioned, I did a virtual tour at the Puritan plant, in the new plant in Pittsfield. They've hired 300 people from central Maine over the past couple of months, and I think they're going to hire 200 or 300 more. So that's good news for that region, from a region going from Bangor to Augusta and up into Somerset and Piscataquis County. We have to go back to doing what we've always done, which is support any and all efforts on economic development, trying to be sure that Loring is able to continue its efforts to attract employment in that region, and supporting the potato industry, agriculture programs that will support potatoes. It will be very good for the Aroostook economy if people start going back and eating French fries again, and that that'll help McCain's and help the farmers. So all of those, it's all of those things that we're going to have to do. In the meantime, though, part of this package that we're discussing involves supplemental unemployment benefits, at least until the beginning of April. So we just want to help tide people over to be sure that we get through this really difficult period. Then we pivot, we shift to employment, and I think we're going to come out of this fairly rapidly once we have widespread use of the vaccine. It's not as if, I mean, people want to go to restaurants and they want to go out and they want to travel and they want to go on vacation and all those things. They're just waiting, and the term is pent-up demand. And I think there's a pent-up demand that's going to bring the economy back fairly rapidly once we're able to fully reopen.
Well, I will look forward to seeing you from the announcer stand at the Potato Blossom Festival next July. I have a feeling it's going to happen, Senator.
I certainly hope so.
In the meantime, my last question for all of our guests is to share what you're resolving in 2021. It can be personal, it can be political, whatever you choose to resolve in 2021.
I'm resolving to be positive. I'm a great believer that if you expect the worst, it's going to happen. And my motto is prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. And I just think if we're positive, if we support one another, and I think we need to reach out more than we normally would to virtually hug one another, to stay in touch, to call. I've taken to sort of going through my contacts and calling people at random that I haven't been in touch with in a long time. And just make that contact. I think that human beings are social animals. And this is a very unnatural situation that we're in terms of not being able to reach out and literally touch one another, to shake hands, to hug. And I'm going to be trying to do more contact as we go through this dark period, and then be ready on the other end. And Mary and I are ready. We've got a new RV that we got last summer, and we're going to be traveling throughout Maine. And as soon as we have a chance, and so I'm optimistic. I always look on the bright side, and I think we've just got to all hang together to get through this tough period.
Great advice for us all and a great resolution. Thank you so much, Senator King, for joining us on this Maine Leaders Conversation Series episode of ACAP Today.
Always great to be with you at ACAP, and I remember well the meetings that we've had and look forward to future ones. And thanks again for the work that all of your people are doing, weatherization, community work, navigating, all of the things that you do it just makes such a difference in individual people's lives. And I think that's the main thing I want to communicate today is a profound thanks on behalf of the people of the county and the state and the country. So we'll be in touch.
Thank you. We're blessed with an amazing team, and I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Senator. And we do thank Senator Angus King so very much for joining us in our Maine Leaders Conversation series this week on ACAP Today, and congratulate him and Senator Collins and all in Washington, D.C. for their great work on the second stimulus package that is being considered today. So thank you very much to Senator King. Before we leave you today, we want to remind you that if you are in need of any assistance, please do reach out to us if we can provide any assistance at all. Contact us over the phone, 764-3721, or via email at info@acap-me.org. We are also available through our website at acap-me.org, where you can also begin to enroll for programs or begin to complete some eligibility information right online in a secure way right there. We are also very active on Facebook, so continue to follow us on Facebook, or follow us if you haven't already. We are available on Twitter now as well, and we also have a YouTube channel that you can access past broadcasts of ACAP Today and other wonderful things that our team are putting out here at ACAP. So please do keep in touch, stay in touch, and reach out if we can help you in any way. And finally, as we end our program each week, we celebrate our snapshot of the week. We've been celebrating, along with the Maine Leaders Conversation Series, some of our own ACAP leaders. These are individuals who have helped lead ACAP through decades of work. This is Marie, also known as Dee Jacobs, as she's affectionately called by her teammates here at ACAP. She works out of our Holton Early Care and Education Center, but she doesn't really work out of it. She actually is one of our bus drivers, so she spends many, many hours and many miles on the road. Dee has been with ACAP for 4 incredible decades, and considering that ACAP is turning 50 in 2022, Dee has been with us for most of ACAP's history, and we're so proud to call her one of our team members. She has many memories of the children she has worked with, as well as many of the coworkers. One funny memory that sticks out was talking to a small group of children on the bus as they were driving down a country road one day, and they were telling her about where their moms and dads work. A little boy shouted out, "Hey Dee, where do you work?" Dee thought to herself, well, I guess I only drive bus for fun and work somewhere else. Dee, if you can have as much fun as I know you do driving the bus and enjoying your interactions with the kids, it's a great thing, and we appreciate all that you've done for us over the last 4 decades. Congratulations to Dee Marie Dee Jacobs for 40 years of her tenure with ACAP. And that is the end of our broadcast for today. We've reached the end of this week's edition of ACAP Today. A very special thank you to Senator Angus King for being our guest. We'll be back next week with our continuing Maine Leaders Conversation series heading into the week of the new year. And we're going to sit down and talk with virtually US Congressman Jared Golden. So we'll see you then for next week's edition of ACAP Today. In the meantime, have a great week, everyone, and a Merry Christmas to you.